is it gives me a chance to talk to you about something called news hacking. I'm a very funny colour, aren't I? Honestly, I'm not really this colour, it's just my lines. I'm going to show you a strategy which I think they call it news hacking. But as soon as YouTube went down, the first thing I thought is better make a video. How can we profit from this, or how can we benefit from this? Bit sort of ambulance chasing, isn't it? But I realized that things went down about 1 o'clock, and so got a video up. And I think last time I looked, and we'll have a look together in a bit, I think it got 400 videos, and the first page ranking, maybe even #1 page ranking on Google, which was nice. Also, I believe that a couple of people, Linda has a question, and also Deborah has a question about how to grow her channel, so we can have a look at that. And of course, we'll have a look at the silly channel that I did, which was the one all about spiritual stuff, and see how that's doing, because that's been going now for 3 weeks. So which one shall we do first? I think it's customary on these Facebook Lives, isn't it, to hang around a bit so that people know that you've gone live and can join. So what I'll do is also post the link to the Zoom call underneath the video, and then if people, oh no, it's not that one. If people see it, they can then join if they want to. So if you do want to join, pop in and have a chat. Any questions you may have on YouTube, then feel free. How do I invite someone? Let's have a look. Let's copy the invitation, copy the invite link, stick that below the channel. Here we go. There we go. So if you want to hop on Zoom, if you have any questions, then feel free, just use that link that I've just posted below, and then we should be good to go. So let's have a look what shall we do first? Let's talk about, oh, blimey, on the other screen. Let's talk about what happened at Google and YouTube earlier on today. So it's about 1 o'clock, everything went down, and obviously that is going to be big news. First thing I did when I noticed it had gone, so I went on to another search engine, Bing, and tried to find out what was happening. I found people that were tweeting about what was going on and the problems that they were having. So if something is newsworthy, in this case it was globally newsworthy, but if something newsworthy happens in your space, your area of expertise, your niche, then make a video about it and optimize that video for the issue that's going down, and you have a very good chance of getting views, because people will be Googling and searching YouTube for news of what's happening, and there'll be if you're quick, there'll be very few other videos that are competing, and those video creators that are competing most likely won't know what they're doing in terms of SEO and in terms of optimization. So I'm going to use the example today of the oops, oh, go away. So I see myself on the other screen. I'm going to use the example today of YouTube going down to give you a strategy as to how you can do a news hack in your niche. So let's get started. I'm going to share my screen and show you the video that I did and the process that I went through. Got it on another browser. Let's have a look. Let's go in and actually open it. I don't want to share everything. I just want to share the bit that I want you to see. Right, let's have a look. I will share it in a moment when it comes up. If you can hear me, by the way, stick in the comments or something that you can. I can see no reason why you shouldn't, but given the way the internet's been behaving today, perhaps shouldn't take it for granted. Right. Okay, so I'll share the screen now. Okay, so what happened? YouTube went down. There was an outage. The date is the 14th of December 2020, and I used to be, a long time ago, a network engineer, which gives me at least the ability to perhaps sound somewhat credible when talking about a network outage. So all I did was constructed a title that included those sentiments. The word YouTube down outage, 14th of December 2020, is the first part of the title. And the reason that this part here is the first part of the title is that when you're doing SEO or optimization of a YouTube video, then the keywords are ranked from left to right in terms of how important they are and how much prevalence they'll be given to the search engines. So YouTube down is something that people are likely to be searching for, isn't it? And outage and the date is something that people are likely to be searching for. You could go onto Google Trends and you could establish that. Problem with Google Trends is there's often a bit of a delay on the Google Trends data updating. But it's just common sense would tell you that if there's a Google and a YouTube outage, then people are likely to be searching for it. Then add some credibility. In my case, I purported to be a network engineer. I was a network engineer, just not recently. And also put in some sort of urgency, so must see. And this title here will do very well with the rankings. Next thing to do is just to stick some of the keywords and things in near the top of the description again. This is parsed from left to right, so you want to get your keywords in there up at the front if you can. And then the rest of the description here is simply a transcript of the video. Now, if you've got time, you could put this in as a transcript, and you could also use the closed caption feature. But I didn't have time to do that, and frankly, I've got other things on, so I just wanted to get something up and running quickly. So I did just dumped a transcription of the Zoom call that I used to make the video directly into here. And if anybody wants to know what I used in order to make it, I used something called otter.ai. So we have the Zoom call, and then dump the transcription into here. The next important thing is to get a thumbnail. Thumbnails have a massive impact, as I've said many times before, on the click-through rate, which again has a massive impact on how successful the channel will be ultimately in the suggested videos by YouTube. So very quickly, and as you can see, almost no effort or no design skills, I mean, I'm going to try and make it bigger, have been deployed on this. I literally used a thumbnail maker and got something that had a little bit of intrigue, and the fact that YouTube had gone down, and used that to get it out, because speed is of the essence when you're doing one of these news hacks. Put that in there. Tags were just random tags all about the fact that YouTube had gone down, and I didn't even bother with a playlist. Put some hashtags in there as well, again things which I thought people may be searching for. So that's worked well. Let's have a look at how it actually performed if I go into the analytics just for this video. So since about 1 o'clock this morning, sorry, 1 o'clock lunchtime, so 5 hours ago, this has had 444 views, which, okay, it's not huge, given that this is a dormant channel that I put it on. It's not one that's got very many subscribers, and it's not one that's regularly updated. I think you know, I just use it normally to post my own videos as unlisted when I'm sharing them with other people, etc. So it's by no means a successful channel, but in about 5 hours, it's got what, 444 subscribers, sorry, views. Now, sometimes these things can really blow up. I have seen this where a video has got hundreds of thousands of views very quickly, and that's if YouTube chooses to put it on their homepage. And there's no guarantee that you can get on the homepage, but just occasionally you'll get lucky. And you know, I've seen people do extremely well. In fact, I've seen people's channels be made by a single video. We've talked about some of the maths behind the distribution of views that people get on their videos before, but if you're lucky, and there is a large element of luck, then getting one of these news hack videos up quickly can really make your channel. You can see that I've got the YouTube search algorithm responsible for 90.9% of those views, and I expect that this will either go one of two ways now. It'll either peter out and disappear, or I could wake up tomorrow and find that it's gone ballistic and suddenly crazy numbers. Could go either way. A couple of things to look at on the reach. That the click-through rate on the thumbnail is 12.7%. So even though that's not a particularly good thumbnail, the topic's interesting, the channel's intriguing, and it's 12.7%, which if you remember from last week when I showed you the test channel that I was setting up, it was something ridiculously low. I think it was 2.3%, or it was certainly lower than 3%. So that video is doing quite well. Just to show you in search, we get another browser up here. Which one is it? Is it that one? I think it's this one. Yeah. Have a look in search. I typed into YouTube, YouTube down 14th of December. There we are, actually #1 in the search there. And if we type in just YouTube down, which is a smaller keyword, and therefore it's going to be less easy to rank because of the other more established, bigger channels and more active channels, then it's not first. But if I go down, there we are, we're on the front page. So what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I think 10 or 11 there. Not bad though. I'm quite happy with that. No reason why you can't do something very similar in your own niche. So for the benefit of people that have just joined, here's what you do. You find something that's happening, that's newsworthy in your niche, you make a quick video about it, and you make that video quickly while it's still news. Optimize the title, optimize your descriptions, get a decent thumbnail, get some tags, and then you have a very good chance of getting some traffic. And one good video could make all of the difference. So that's an update on news hacking, and I would suggest that you give that a go. Let's have a quick look at the test channel that I was setting up, which is my woo-woo channel. Very, very early days, as we said before. I think it's now been up for 3 weeks. And if I look at the analytics, then it's not spectacular. We've got 6 subscribers, but then I haven't really been trying to get subscribers. I actually don't care about subscribers at the moment, and there's a reason for that. Subscribers don't matter at this point in the game. It's actually quite easy to get subscribers, and in a few weeks' time, maybe after Christmas now, I'll show you some strategies about how to increase your subscriber base. But that's not the most important thing at the moment. The most important thing is to find out which of the types of videos that we're trialing are proving most popular. Because once we find the number of people, or once we find the most popular type of video, then we will just simply concentrate on making more of those, and may even change the channel name to reflect the type of videos that are going to be more popular. Because, as I've said many times, the whole thing about YouTube is to find out what they want and then give it to them in the form of creating videos that they will want to watch. So if I go into the video list and then sort them by the number of views, it's looking at the moment that guided sleep meditations are doing quite well. We can see 19 views. Instrumental yoga music is doing quite well. So we've got 13 views. Some more guided meditations, this time with female voices. So in fact, both of these have got female voice, haven't they? So guided meditations with female voices are probably something that I would concentrate on. But again, as I've said before, it's very, very early. It's too early really to say, because we don't have enough numbers in there to make it statistically significant. If I go into the analytics again, what I would generally want to look at here in the engagement, sorry, in the reach, is this click-through rate. Now it's gone up a little bit since last week. It's 3%. Last week it was just under 3%. It's still terrible. I would want to see that north of 10%, in the same way that it was north of 10% on the video that I just showed you that I did today with the news hack. A good tip is to go into advanced mode, and then there's a column here which is click-through rate. There's an average of 3%, but if I sort it by click-through rate, you'll see that some of them towards the top end here are much better than 3%. So when the numbers are bigger, when we've had many more views, and therefore we can make some good inferences, I'd want to be looking at the videos which have got good click-through rates and seeing what type of thumbnails they have or what type of titles they have, and trying to replicate those and alter them as we go further down to these which have got, in some instances, very bad click-through rates. Again, difficult to draw any kind of conclusions at this stage, given the fact that the channel's only 3 weeks old and the numbers are tiny. But that would be the strategy that I would be using. Isn't very much more to say on this really, apart from I have too many subscribers for the number of views that I have. There's only 169 views, and I have 6 subscribers. I would not expect anywhere like that. If you remember from last week, we did some numbers on that. Does make you think though, doesn't it? 169 views in 3 weeks versus, what did we say the other one was? Let's have a look. So 169 or whatever it was in 3 weeks. This one, 444 views in 5 hours. It's nothing to do with the channel being bigger, because it's not. It's a very small channel. It's just literally that this is newsworthy and this is what people are searching for, and I've managed to optimize a video quickly for what people are searching for. So it really does bear out the find out what they want and give it to them, because clearly when YouTube goes down, this is what they wanted, and it's in much more demand than meditation music or guided meditations or whatever else I was doing on the other channel. So really, in terms of updates and summaries, that's all I wanted to cover. There were a couple of questions or a couple of comments. One from, this is on the original, when I actually posted it originally. Yeah, let's have a look. One from Denise asking about what's the best length of video and when's the best time of the day to post them. Might sound like a bit of a twee reply, but the best length for a video is a video which is of a sufficiently long length to engage people, but a sufficiently short length so as to stop them getting bored and dropping off. And you can find out where people are dropping off on your videos by looking in the analytics and looking at the retention, as it's called. Now, because this channel is so new, I can't show you, at least I don't think I'll be able to show you yet, what I'm talking about with these videos, because typically it takes weeks for that sort of data to come through. But we'll have a look in the analytics and just see whether or not we can see any kind of, yeah, actually we have got some numbers here, because this is one of the early videos that I did. So I can see that this video here is 54 minutes long, but I've got a very steep drop off in the first 5 minutes or so. So if you can see here, only 37% of the people are still here at this stage, and as we go further and further along, then more and more people drop off. So by the time we get to the end, only 5% of the people are still watching the video. So when you're constructing your videos, you want to make sure that you get stuff interesting at the beginning so that we don't get such a big drop off, and that you try and retain, I don't know, let's set an arbitrary figure of 50% through the video. You know, I've only got 16% as an average. Incidentally, by the way, this is quite a good sign. When we get peaks going up again, this is where people have either shared the video or they've rewound the video. So it's quite, I don't quite know why people would be rewinding this video, given that the video is pretty rubbish. But look for I would say a rule of thumb, 50%, between 30 and 50%, and you're doing well. There's a caveat here that if you're trying to monetize your video through AdSense, then if you can ideally get it over 10 minutes, then YouTube allows you to run ads in the middle of your videos as opposed to just at the beginning and at the end. So if you're looking to monetize through AdSense, and it's difficult to make a lot of money on AdSense nowadays, depending on the niche that you're in, you could look to make, say, between $500 and about $800 per million views. So the main thing I would be driven by if I'm not looking for AdSense is to maintain a sufficient length so as to keep this coefficient up at the 30 to 50% mark. In terms of what time of day should you be releasing, again, there is a twee answer to that. You should be releasing your video at the time that you think your people are likely to be online. So if your audience is, and again, I can't show you here because there isn't enough data, but if your audience is predominantly in the US, then I would suggest releasing videos in the afternoon UK time, because otherwise they'll still be in bed. You can get tools, which I'll talk about on another video, which give you a better idea of exactly when to release, but we don't need to complicate it, and we don't want you spending money. So release them when you think that people are going to be watching them. A little bit of an extra tip here as well is that how a video performs can often be greatly influenced by how it initially performs. So you want a video to be released and then to get plenty of views on it straight away. So a good strategy could be, if you have a newsletter, then release your video a few hours before you send out your newsletter, and then link to your video in your newsletter so that the people that receive it can then give it some love. And that can only do good things and help the video on its way. So in summary, release when people are going to watch. If you can get some extra love on there through a newsletter or a blog post or whatever else, do that. And look for audience retention numbers to give you a clue as to how much of or how long they want the videos to be. Denise, I hope that answers that question, at least partially. If not, then just post under, and Perry says thumbs up. Thank you, Perry. If not, any other questions, just post them under there. So let's move on. Deborah, she's got her channel, which is here. She's been up for a couple of months. She's got 31 subscribers, and I had a look on Social Blade, 871 views. There's not enough data for her yet to give us averages and things, but I think the main question is how can she grow it? 45 to 50-minute long videos. Well, first of all, go in there and have a look at how many people are sticking around for the majority of that, and make adjustments accordingly. We can talk about specific adjustments if you want next week. But how can you market them? I'm not sure what you mean by market. I'm assuming here that you don't mean throwing money at it in terms of ads. I think you're probably talking about how can you get more views and more engagement. Really, it's back to what I was talking about with keywords. So if I go and have a look at the titles of your videos, titles being the most important thing, is this what people on YouTube are searching for? I don't know the answer. Is that what are people searching for that? If they're not, then find out what they are searching for that's part of the video content and replace the title with that. Also, I don't see any other data in here. There's no comments, there's no description as far as I can see, unless I don't have permissions to see it from here. Let's have a look at another one.
Hello and welcome. This is Jack.
Is anyone going to be searching for Leading Dragons podcast? Again, I don't know the answer, but have a look using any number of tools, TubeBuddy or vidIQ, or any of the other keyword tools to see what people are actually searching for. And if they're not searching for this, then try and find something which is covered within the podcast that they are searching for, and mention in the description that this topic is covered, and don't keyword stuff, but put plenty of reference to the fact that that will be covered within the video in the description. If you wanted to go the extra mile, then you could add a very short intro, and I do mean short, I'm talking about seconds, saying, I know, welcome to the podcast. Later in the podcast, we'll be talking about this, and this, so be sure to listen to the end. Then shut up and get out, and then let the podcast run. Same again, really. It's all in the titles, really, the titles and the descriptions and the tags to some extent. But the first thing I would be doing is looking at the titles and the thumbnails, because it looks like you don't have any custom thumbnails. So really, there's no, I would be, again, I can't see inside your analytics, but I would be having a look at the search volumes and also the click-throughs on this and getting some decent thumbnails up, because these are not good, frankly. That would help. In fact, I say I've seen channels increase their views by hundreds of % just by tweaking the titles and particularly the thumbnails. Right, I think that's it from Deborah. I don't know whether Deborah's on. I'm just going to scroll up and see if there's any. Yeah, Deborah, you do need to change that, and you need to change those thumbnails. Yeah, make them pop. Chicks get clicks, so that's good. Also, ramp up the vibrance, get some branding in there, get some intrigue in there. Or maybe I can do a session on thumbnails, and you'll see a big increase just by doing those simple things, I think. Good. On the original post, there's another question from Linda. Linda says, can you have more than one business channel connected to your name, or do you create a new YouTube channel for each business idea? Well, you can have multiple channels, YouTube channels, off of the same Google account. So if you've got various businesses, then you can have a channel on the same Google account off of various off the same. And how many words in the title? It's not a question of words, it's a question of characters. There's 100 characters in the title, but if you can get it down to 75, then you'll do a lot better, Deborah. And also make sure that those keywords are at the beginning of the title, not towards the end of the title. What was I going to say? Yes, so you can have multiple channels using the same Google account. I would recommend not doing that, because it means that if you lose your Google account, and Google never goes down, does it? Or you never get locked out of your Google account or hacked in your Google account, then if you lose that one Google account, potentially you lose all of those channels. If it was me, unless there's a really good reason why, and I can't think of one off the top of my head, I would be setting up a separate Google account with separate passwords and separate YouTube channels. But the concept of channel is important, because people use the word YouTube channel but don't really think about what a channel means. Think about a TV channel. You would tune in to a TV channel, or I guess nowadays it's streaming, isn't it? A streaming service, to watch one very specific type of content. So if you went onto the sports channel on Sky, I don't know very much about sport, but I know they have sports channels on Sky, and I think they have a channel which is all about football, and I find football terribly boring. I can't think of anything worse than watching a game of football, honestly. But it's all football, isn't it? On that channel, it's all football. They never ever have, an arts program, or I don't know, a lecture by Richard Dawkins. He's still alive, isn't it? Stephen Hawkins has died. But they never ever have ballet, as far as I know. And rarely, in fact, anything else apart from football and football related things. And it's so boring. If you're into football, then you know that if you go onto that channel, you're going to get content on football. And if you don't like football, then you never go onto that channel. So it's a very narrow niche, and that's important. No, you don't need 100 subscribers, not anymore. It's very, very important that you have a single thing on a single channel. And that's one of the problems that we have as creators, in that we're creative people and we want to cover lots of different subjects, but we really do have to pick a niche for a channel and just get very, very boring with it and just keep the channel on the same topic. And that's why you would perhaps want multiple channels if you're trying to get too many diverse niches or too much diverse content into a single channel. And that's one issue that I have with the one that I set up. This nonsense one, this Mystic, whatever it is, the one that I'm using as a teaching vehicle. And at the moment, I've got videos on all sorts of stuff because I'm just different topics: yoga music, slow music, meditations. What's this one? Psychic study music. I don't know, all sorts of nonsense. Because I'm just throwing stuff up to see what's important to people and what people like and what sticks. Then what I'll do is I'll probably rename the channel. At the moment, I guess I'd call it Guided Sleep Meditation Channel, because that's the one that's most popular. And then I'll just keep churning out guided sleep meditations over and over and over again until I'm sick of it. But the people that tune into the channel won't be sick of it, because they will be geeks for guided sleep meditations. And if there are other ones that are doing well, maybe yoga music, I'll set another channel up and I'll go down that vertical with just yoga music. So keep it on topic, keep it on brand. Your challenge as a creator is not boring pants off of yourself. Don't worry about boring the pants off of your viewers. They like it, they've got a choice. And you'll find actually that the majority of your views don't come from your subscribers. So even though you'll be sick of it, most people that see your videos will probably be seeing them for the first time, and that's how your channel will grow. I'm even bored talking about it now. I've talked about YouTube all day. I've been working on YouTube stuff all day, so I'm bored of YouTube, but obviously people that are watching and want to learn about YouTube won't be. Ha! Right, I reckon that's about it. Unless there's any other questions, can't see anything else coming in. I'd like to say thank you for your time, and I hope that Google going down wasn't too traumatic for you. It's funny, you don't realize how much you rely on these services until they're not there, do you? I do hope other video-based online services don't go down this evening. Yes, Perry, putting in a competition for members to win beer. Yes, get them to subscribe, bribe them. Why not? Good idea. Right, good night, folks. Talking of beer, sounds like that's a good idea right now. Have a fantastic evening. Thanks for your company, and I'll do another one of these probably next week. Don't know. We'll see what happens. All right. Cheers. Bye for now. Oh, yes. I should say, if you want any help with the YouTube channel, then contact me and we'll sort something out. Right. Back to work.